Hey there, Max here with Wild Sage Coffee Roasters. Gonna be going over warming up my Mill City 1 kilo roaster and then dropping a few batches. Hopefully I'll be able to record the batches as I'm roasting them and upload those so you can kind of watch it, and I'll kind of walk you through it. So I've got my roaster hooked up to power and hooked up to propane. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the main gas lever, turn on my roaster. You'll hear it kick on. I'm gonna give it a second. I'm gonna bring my fan speed down to, I'm just gonna put it at like 15, and my drum speed I'm gonna bring up just a bit, maybe like 45, let's say. I'm gonna go ahead and hit my ignition switch. You should hear it click a few times. And then I'm gonna go ahead and turn this blue lever on the side that I'll upload pictures of. And this is gonna bring up my gas a little bit, my fuel. So now you can hear the burners kick on. I'm gonna go ahead and set my fuel to about, say 2.5. I'm gonna hit my timer so I know how long my roaster's been warming up. Close my door, make sure all that's closed. And now I just need to wait. I like to give my roaster about 25 minutes to warm up. Another thing to keep an eye on is when I'm cooling down my roaster, I set my PID max temp super low so my burners don't kick on. I'm going to bring it up to about 382. So I'll get to hit the set button, and then if I press the little F with an arrow pointing towards the back of the roaster, it will allow me to move the decimal point over, so I can adjust like the hundreds, I can adjust the tens, the ones, and then the tens place if I want. So I'm going to bring it up to 382. I'm bringing it to 382 because at 350 the roaster will start beeping, which you will hear. So it'll go up to 382, and then it should drop about 30 degrees to 352, and it'll just kind of idle back and forth between those. I like to let it do that a few times, just to make sure it's thoroughly warmed up. And then I've already got some Brazil Salmo Plus weighed out, but I'm going to weigh out a few other coffees like my Democratic Republic Congo Kivu. It's an organic coffee. Then I have a Mexico Chiapas Altura Superior, and a Papua New Guinea. Plus today a gentleman gave me one batch, 2.2 pounds of an organic Peru from Villarica, I believe was the name on the bag. I'll upload a picture of the bag, but he was super cool. I was at a local coffee shop and he had brought in a bunch of coffee for the guy to roast, and I helped him just move the bags, and he was super pumped. So he gave me some coffee to roast. I have exactly one batch, so hopefully I don't mess it up. But yeah, so my roaster's warming up. I'm gonna get roast path set up, which hopefully you'll be able to see in the video, and then we'll get to kind of go from there. All right, so the roaster is all warmed up. I just brought my PID, like my max temp, up to 440. As soon as it hits about, let's say, I'm still learning on this machine, so I kind of have two readings. I have my roast path reading and my PID reading. But I'm gonna say as soon as my bean temp hits 430. Right before that, I'm going to drop my coffee in when it hits 430. Or let's say, because I have a countdown, I forgot I have a countdown, so at like 428, I'm going to hit my countdown. I'm going to drop my coffee in at 430 and turn off my gas and let it soak for about a minute to a minute and a half, kind of depending on how low my turn is coming, my temp is coming when I drop those beans in. And yeah, I'm recording the roast, so we should be able to see exactly what happens. You should be able to kind of follow it with me. I'm still experimenting, kind of figuring out exactly what to do to kind of get my, what I believe to be an ideal roast profile. But yeah, roast path is rad. You'll get to see it. It's got a lot of data points that it's collecting, which is super nice. So we're getting ready. Go ahead and drop this Brazil in. I'm going to turn this timer off because obviously I have a timer. And I'm going to go ahead and hit my countdown. It's going to give me a 3, 2, 1. I'm going to shut my gas off. And we're going to see what happens. The charger's right at 430.3. As you can see, the temperature is starting to drop from those cool beans going into the hot roaster. And there'll come this point when they kind of equalize, and it'll kind of bounce back up. And I'm trying to go for a nice smooth curve, but we will see how it goes. Like I said, I'm still kind of experimenting, getting to know this roaster. I normally roast on a different roaster, and all my temperature readings are way different. My turn temp, my first crack, all of that stuff is completely different. So kind of got an idea of what I want to do. I have my old profile, so I'm going to kind of try to change it off my old profile, and hopefully I'll be able to post the old one and the new one so we can kind of see what these changes did to the profile. Still dropping. I'm at about 260 degrees with a negative 150 degree rate of rise. The nice part about roast path is it's going to go ahead and track my turning point automatically for me, kind of at that lowest point. So I just hit my ignition a little before 130. As you can see, the gas kicked back on. I'm going to go ahead and crank it up to 3 and try to get a nice little bounce off of that. I'm still at a negative 70 for my rate of rise, negative 70 degrees per minute, and it's slowly getting closer to 0. My air temp has already started to rise. My bean temp has kind of started to level out, and it's getting ready to kick back up. And I just hit my turn at 1 minute and 52 seconds at 232 degrees. For this Brazil, I'm keeping my fan speed at about 60 setting. It's about 35 RPMs, and I'm going to make some adjustments to obviously to my gas. And I'm just checking to see kind of the angle of the beans, see how fast my beans are spinning in there. Go ahead and take a glance, see if it, make sure it wasn't too hot. I'm not getting the boiling marks on my beans, which they look good. And now I'm going to go ahead and wait for my green to yellow transition. I'm just going to kind of keep smelling my coffee. It'll be a distinct color change and a change in the smell. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Mill City videos just to try to get up to speed on their roaster, and they have a very good descriptor of like boiling pasta is kind of what you'll start to smell right at that green and yellow transition. So shout out to Mill City Roasters. Yeah, everything's looking good though. We're about 3 minutes, 45 seconds. Our rate of rise has started to climb, as you can see. Our bean temp is starting to climb. We kind of planed, and now we're slowly starting to come back up. and my rate of rise is still climbing a little bit. We're pretty close to green to yellow transition, which is a little quick. We're at about 4:30. I'm going to go ahead and hit it. And I know that since I'm a little bit faster than I want, I'm going to go ahead and kind of dial back my gas settings from like 3 to about 2.5. And I'll have the option to also add in some notes actually on roast path. So you can see I'll do a minute and 30 seconds. My computer is pretty old and it's got a little lag, so bear with me. So we're going to enter that. We're going to add one more because we know it was a little bit hot. So at about 4:30, sorry. 4:30, I brought it down to about 2.5. So I'm kind of keeping notes manually and on here just in case I forget one, then I still have all of my notes. Got those entered. Things are looking good. Gonna check the dryer, just kind of take a look at the coffee, make sure it's not tipping or scorching. Still kind of learning to identify some of that stuff, some of those defects, but everything looks good. The beans look good, the color's good. There's no weird burns on them, so that's good. Nothing's on fire, super good. So my next adjustment I had marked was for like 1.9 at 7 minutes. So we're coming up at 7 minutes right now. So I'm going to go ahead and drop it down just a bit. Go ahead and make another adjustment in here. You should be able to see all of these adjustments. And we're going to go hit OK on that. So we're hitting 350, which means our first crack is coming up, and we're still a little fast, but not bad. We're at about 750. Now you can really hear it starting to pop, so I'm going to go ahead and mark that on. Mark that. We've got our first crack mark. I'm going to drop these notes so you can go ahead and kind of see the profile. Now I'm going to drop it a little bit more because the rate of rise seems to have a little spike in it. So I'm going to bring it down to 1. And we're going to see what happens. It should start to kind of level off a little bit, which is how I like my profiles. Sorry about my computer being so low. I'm going to go ahead and mark that. Things are looking pretty solid. We got a little kick, but we kind of leveled back off at first crack, so I may have kind of over-corrected. Normally first crack will kind of pull your temperature a little bit with all that moisture and the gas coming off the beans, but I may have kind of over-anticipated, so it actually rose a little bit, but now it's kind of leveled off. Everything is still looking good. Go ahead and make one more adjustment. We're going to go to 0.5 at 9:30. Hit OK there. Go ahead and drop these notes down. Our development time right now is at about 21%. Our rate of rise is still good. We're at 13 degrees per minute, 12 degrees per minute, which is about 6 for 30 seconds, which is what I normally track it in. And I'm going to go ahead and drop this coffee out. So I'm going to hit drop. I'm going to turn on my cooling fan. I'm going to turn off my igniter. And yeah, so it looks pretty good. You'll be able to see it kind of has a nice curve. We're at 10 minutes, 42 seconds. And we've got about a 25% development time. The first part of our roast was at about 42%, and then we had 33% for kind of that middle phase. Yeah, things are looking pretty solid. I'm going to go ahead and save this profile and then get ready for the next batch.